All right. A man was getting his hair cut prior to a trip to Rome. He mentioned the trip to his barber as he was getting his hair cut. Rome, why would anyone want to go there? It's crowded, dirty, and full of Italians. You're crazy to go to Rome. So how are you getting there? We're planning on taking TWA, was the reply. We got a good rate. TWA, explained the barber. It's a terrible airline. The planes are old. Their flight attendants are not. I'm not going to say that one.
Chicken.
And they're always late. So where are you staying in Rome? Well, we've got a downtown. We're staying at the Downtown International Marriott. The barber replies, that's a dump. That's the worst hotel in the city. The rooms are small, service is surly, and they're overpriced. And they have bed bugs.
Oh.
So what you doing when you get there? Well, we're going to see the Vatican and we hope to see the Pope. Oh, that's rich, said the barber. You and a million other people trying to see him. He'll look like the size of an ant. Boy, good luck. Sounds like a lousy trip. You're going to need lots of luck. A month later, the man returns for another haircut. The barber asked him about his trip to Rome. It was a wonderful trip, explained the man. Not only were we on time taking off on one of TWA's new planes, but they were overbooked and they bumped us to first class. The food and wine were wonderful. And I had a beautiful 28-year-old stewardess who waited on us hand and foot. In the hotel, it was great. They're just the fun. Wait a minute. The hotel, that was great. They just finished a $25 million remodeling job, and now it's the finest hotel in the city. They too were overbooked, and they apologized and gave us the presidential suite at no extra charge. Well, muttered the barber, I know you didn't get to see the Pope. Well, actually, we were quite lucky. For as we toured the Vatican, a Swiss guard tapped us on the shoulder and explained that the Pope likes to see people, or personally meet people, at least one set of people every day. And today is your lucky day. So they guided us to a private room and waited, and the Pope would personally greet us. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, the Pope walked in the door and shook my hand. I knelt down and spoke a few words to the Pope. Really, asked the barber. What did he say in reply? He said, where'd you get that stupid haircut?
That was worth it.
That's what I was going to say. He was speaking Italian. I don't know what he said.
Did I talk to you folks about draining your battery on your devices, especially your phones?
No.
Nope.
Oh, so that's going to be the tip of the day. A few ways to save battery life on your phone. Okay. So I'm going to switch screens so I can see my phone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Me as a noisy microwave. I'm going to mute everybody. Okay. First of all, the phone does have a wonderful app, if you will, about the health of the battery. So if we all have our phones and we go to settings and we scroll down to where it says battery health, where it says battery, and then tap on battery health. And mine says 98%. In other words, my battery, I got this phone about 7 months ago, and the battery still operates at 98% of its capability. And if yours is saying something less than that, that's okay. That's just telling you that you've gone through the number of cycles the battery will charge a certain amount. If it gets below 70%, then you might want to consider either a new battery or a new phone. The next thing to focus on is dimming your screen. Well, how do I dim my screen? I'm going back to my home page and I get the control center, and we get the control center by putting our finger up at the upper right-hand side and pulling down. And here you can adjust your screen's brightness by putting your finger here and drawing down and up. Now, it's not adjusting the brightness on the display you're seeing from me, but it actually is doing it on my phone. This is the place you also go if you accidentally dim your phone so much you can hardly read it. And you can brighten it again. Okay? Now, if you click and hold on that, it comes up with this other screen. And here's where you can make it in dark mode, true tone mode, or night shift. Okay? So I can click on dark mode and it switches my phone to dark mode. Okay? So that's the next thing, right? The third one is to turn on something called auto brightness. And you do that by, auto brightness is I adjust the brightness of the screen relative to the ambient light. So if I move into a darker environment, it will automatically lower the brightness of the screen. If I move into the sunshine, it will automatically brighten the screen to make it easier to read. So if I go to settings, accessibility, oh, it's settings. That's right. Accessibility is an individual thing now. Accessibility used to be under general. Now it's its own icon. Settings, accessibility, display and text, and toggle auto brightness. Is it there somewhere? Yeah, at the bottom. The next thing to do is turn off raise to wake on your phone. All models of the iPhone have a raise to wake function turned on by default. The constantly turned on when it will definitely drain your battery. So you go to settings, tap the account icon at the top of the screen, Oops, I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong thing. Settings, display and brightness. And scroll down to where it says raise to wake and turn that off. So if you have the phone on and you pick it up, it won't automatically come on. Update all apps with available updates. If you go to settings and then tap the account at the top of the settings menu, I'm looking for that setting and I don't see it. Oh, I'm sorry. Again, I'm making a mistake here. What we're trying to do is when Apple releases a new iOS update, developers have to play catch up too. That's why there are beta versions of iOS for developers to work on. But when the new update comes out, if you don't want to automatically update your apps on your iPhone, taking time to update all the available updates on your phone could seriously help your phone battery. To update your apps, you go to settings, you go to the App Store, tap Update All. They've changed this feature from the printout that I have.
You have app updates turned on, and that will download everything as you're going along.
Yep. But then how do you get updates, Bill?
I have it turned off, and so what happens is my app store has a flag of how many updates are pending. And
that's right.
And so sometime when I'm not doing a lot of stuff, I decide to let the store update all the apps that are pending, and I go into the app store and update all that way when I want to. I don't want the thing doing it on its own.
So you turn off both those features? It says automatic.
Right now I have apps turned on, but I have the app updates turned off. I'm not sure.
Okay. What he's saying is if you go to the Apple Store, App Store, and you go into purchases.
No, just click on your name. You've got one update pending.
Yeah.
Your picture at the top, and then there'll be an update all.
But I have to go to purchased, don't I? I tap my name. Oh, there it is. Update all.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody follow that? Because I've been a little confusing about it. You go to the App Store. You tap your face icon up here when you want to do updates. You scroll down to where it says Update All. So you turn them off so they're not constantly trying to update. saving battery life, and then you turn them on, or you do the updates here. If you're using widgets, reduce the number of widgets you have. So my widgets are here and here. So if I had multiple widgets, I might want to get rid of some of them, because many of them are going to the internet trying to get updates for you. In this case, it's the stock market. The way you can get rid of them, I believe, is by getting them to shake and then hitting the minus sign on it.
Bill,
Yes.
could you please explain one more time how you got to update all?
If you go to the Apple Store, and that's the little icon down here.
Okay.
And I tap my name, my face here, or the upper right-hand corner of the icon, your account icon, and then scroll down, and there's where it says update all.
I still didn't get it.
Okay, are you at the App Store, not the Apple Store, the App Store?
Yes.
Tap the A.
The apps?
You have a picture of your a little circle up here, upper right?
No.
You don't?
No, I'm in the App Store, but there's nothing like that. Settings and then?
No, not in settings. You don't go to the App Store in settings. You go to the application.
Oh, okay. Where is it?
Another big user of battery life is your phone is constantly doing things for you. One of them is turn off doing the background app refresh. So if you have applications running, they're trying to get the new stock market information. Okay, so you should turn that off. If you go again to settings, now we're back to settings, and then we go to general. Okay, you see where it says background app refresh? And I have mine turned off. So it only refreshes the app when I'm using it, not while it's in the background. The other thing that uses battery life is various applications that want to know where you are. And we've talked about location services before. And if you scroll down in settings, so I have the settings title here at the top. And I'm going to privacy and location services. And you should be going down through these and setting them up to either never or while using. Okay. And if you can't think of a reason why that app should know where you are, then just turn it off. And if it becomes obvious later, you'll find it. It will come back and say, can't help you here because you have to turn on location services. The other one is place your phone face down. When you place your phone is facing down, the screen illuminates whenever you receive a notification. If you receive a lot of notifications, they could easily be part of the battery problem. So if you have it face up, if you put it face down, the screen won't light up when you get these notifications. And if you're in the dire straits and you're about out of battery life and it's getting pretty, you see it's going to be a while before you can get a charge and you're down to maybe 30 or 40%, you might want to put your phone in low power mode. You go to settings, battery, and low power mode. I want to answer the question you're going to ask me, and that is, what am I losing by putting myself in low power mode? And I'm not seeing a good explanation of that. Hey, Bill, you with me?
Yes.
Could you check out what's the effect of putting it in low power mode while I go on?
Yes.
Thank you. Turn on reduced motion. If you've been enjoying an interesting effects like fireworks or confetti or something like that, and reactions in Messages app, or you're using animations that require lots of iPhone battery life, while the flashy features in Messages may help and be fun, they sure do cut the amount of time your phone can stay alive. Beyond the Messages app, so what they're saying is don't use those effects that we covered when we talked about Messages where you have confetti falling or fireworks going on. The iPhone has animation for everything, simply switching from an app on the home screen has its own animation. Okay. Each animation may not use much battery, but if you're using a lot of them, they do. So what you're going to do is go to Settings, Accessibility, Motion. I can find it here.
It's towards
Top. There it is. Tap on Motion. and turn off. Oh, reduce motion of the user interface includes parallax effects on icons. So I have that turned on. Okay.
I got an answer for you, Bill.
And the question was, go ahead and tell us the question.
The question was on low power mode, what happens? And when you turn on low power mode, it reduces the frequency of fetch on your email. It reduces the background apps refreshing. It disables the auto download. It reduces some visual effects. It changes your auto lock to 30 seconds, and it reduces some 5G capability.
Sounds like it does most of what we've been covering.
Right, so it's doing what you need to do when you're in trouble, and it will automatically shut itself off when you charge the battery up to 80% or higher.
Everybody follow that one? Thank you. Good one.
Just another note, we were both confused on the app download and the app update download. The update is to bring updates in for the apps you have on your device. The app download is if you load an app onto one device, if you have the app download turned on, it will download to that device any apps you have that you got on a different device, but not on this one. So if you have, I think I'm going to turn mine off because if I have it on one device, I don't necessarily want it on all of them.
Yep. And last but not least, is in addition to the screen, the second biggest user of battery life is you communicating outside of your phone. So if you're really getting it down there and you want to still continue using the phone, you should probably go in to settings and turn off Wi-Fi. So you won't be able to get on the internet. And if you're really, really good, in trouble, you turn on airplane mode so you can't even receive phone calls. Especially if you're getting poor reception, so you're out in the country somewhere. Okay? What I'd like to do is switch gears now to books. There are many book applications, and I want to talk about the number of book applications after I get done talking about Apple's books application. And we'll talk about the different ones at that time. And hopefully you can chime in. Many of you have used the ones from the library, et cetera, from other places. Okay? So I'm going to focus now on the iPad. So I'm on the iPad. This is what the books application looks like. So I click on books. And like many applications from Apple, across the bottom are the initial controls you have to look at. So the first one would be, how do I get a book, Bill? Well, you click on books and you're going to the Apple bookstore. Once you're in the Apple bookstore, you can choose the kinds or the way in which you want to look at the store. You can say, I only want to look at free books. I only want to look at coming out soon. I only want to get the idea. And you can scroll down here and get all kinds of different sorts of the bookstore. Okay. You can come over here and do a search. So I'm going to do that. Since I know the book I want, I'm going to do a search. And I'm going to click up here and I'm going to say I want iPad users. So I'm getting the iPad users guides. And there are many different versions of it. So I'd like everybody to go there. And you see where it says iPad users guide and the fine print says 14.7. I'd like you to get that one.
Mine says 13.3.
You have too many devices with the speakers on. Go ahead. Was that you, Sharon? No, I don't.
No.
Okay, go ahead. Hello? Okay. There's two. Go ahead.
13.3.
Should say 14.7.
I had 14.6. So if you have a user's guide that is lower than the 14.7, if you just click on that, you'll get an update and it'll bring it up to the current 14.7.
I just clicked on it, right? Mine says download it. Or it could say update is what you're saying, Bill?
On mine, it said update because I already had them downloaded.
And I got one on 14.7. And this one's, I already have it. It says read it. Want to read?
If you've got read, you're up to date.
Right, I know. So those are the different options that can come with that. If I go down here to iPad Ultimate, comes up and says buy it for $3.99. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is Joanne. I can't find the books app on my iPad screen to begin with.
All right. One thing you can do, see if you have, you sure you don't have it on your device?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Double tap the home button or right? I'm sorry. Put your, you have a pro or do you have a home button? Huh? Hello, Joanne? Oh, we just lost her.
I have a home button. I'm sorry.
Okay. Put your finger in the middle of the screen and pull down. Well, go back to the home screen and then put your finger in the middle of the screen and pull down and type in books. If you do not have the app on your screen, on your system, it will come up and say, you got to get it from the App Store. Otherwise, it would show up like mine did right there.
Yes, I have now. The iPad user guide is on my screen for reading now.
How'd you miss going to the bookstore to get that?
Oh, I did the search and then.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you didn't have the books application. Okay. So
Bill,
yes.
can I ask you, I'm in the Apple Watch user guide and I cannot get out of it.
Just tap the screen and tap the arrow to the left at the top of the screen.
Okay. Now it says, oh yeah, reading now.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I'm still in the bookstore. All right.
Yes.
And so I'm going to download it. And so you see it downloading.
Which one now?
I'm just getting the iPad 14.7. The object here was to let everybody know how to download a book. Okay. All right. And at the bookstore, how to use the bookstore to find the book you want. Once you have done that, you have the capability now to either reading now or go to the library. Okay. Reading now would contain the books you started to read. And I've just done that. And there's the books I've started. Okay. And there are some other ones down here. You want to read these? Some samples for you. There's some other things there. If I want to focus on getting that iPad 14.7 that I just got, I go to the library. The library has a collection of books. So everybody has clicked on the library. You can see where it says collection at the top. If you tap that arrow, you can see want to read, finished reading, books that you have, audio books that you have, etc. Right? You can create a collection of your own. Let's say you had a collection of science fiction books. You could create a new collection down here. And I'm going to call them iPad books. So now I have a library for my iPad books. And here's one of them. And if I hit the little dots, I can add it to that collection. Now, just like in photos, everything still is in the library as it is in recents in photos. If I click this other iPad one, I'll add that to a collection. And I'll put that in the iPad books. Well, I got another one down here. Add to collection, iPad books. And another one. Add to collection, iPad books. Okay. And again, they're still in the library here. But if I go to collections up here and I click on iPad books, it only shows me those iPad books. Okay. Now, if you only have one or two books there, it doesn't make much sense, but you should try it. So go ahead and try to put the iPad book that you just downloaded in a collection. You do that by clicking on collections, click on new collection, and then type the name. It's not kind of obvious, but if you start typing right now, you get a keyboard to show up. And you type in the name of the book you want. Okay? Or the name of the, the category you want. Sorry. Now, one of the things I love about the books in the iPad is the way in which they show you and you can use and read books. So we've gone to the bookstore. We've learned a little bit about the bookstore, how to find a book there that you might want, do the search of it, and get it onto your device. So you have a library, and then you have the reading now are the ones that are on your device. The library, let's say, is in the iCloud. Okay?
Bill,
Go ahead.
yeah. I'm trying to figure out some way to organize the books in my library. And I try to alphabetize them by author, and they don't differentiate between a first name and a last name.
What she's saying here is she has a sort capability. See it down here? And if you click that, it says by author.
Yeah.
What's it do? Just pick whatever's the first.
Either the first or the last name. When you have an A, it can give you a good sort by the first name or the last name, wherever the A happens to be.
If it's on author, it goes there.
The author, it doesn't matter if they don't care if it's the first name or the last name.
It's the first thing that shows up in the name that's listed.
I've got Pamela Ayres, and then I've got Aaron Pogue.
And so, is it sort under Pamela or Ayres?
Well, the first one is sorting under the last name because the last name starts with an A. The second one, the last name starts with a P, but his first name starts with an A.
Oh, isn't that convenient?
I don't know how to sort by genre. That isn't a choice here.
Correct. These are the only choices you have.
Yeah.
And you could do it manually and move them around yourself.
It's not worth it to me.
But you could create the genre.
If I'd done it in the beginning.
Yeah, I understand. You could create the genre in collections and do your own.
Yeah, I'd have to manually do each one. It's not worth the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They're a little behind the times. And they can't even alphabetize properly.
I don't get that one. That one is weird.
I know, that's very weird.
All right. So now let's everybody open up at least one book. I recommend the iPhone 14.7 we just downloaded. Okay. And you should come up with a screen that looks similar to this. I'm not sure you will. It may look like, that. And you'll notice I have on my screen, I have no controls at the top or bottom of the screen. And I will not have those controls unless I click or tap the screen somewhere. So I'm just going to tap it right here. And now I have a little back arrow here at the top. I have that symbol is a table of contents. I have some A's, I have a magnifying glass, I have notes, and I have this little bar at the bottom where I can click the dot and change the page I'm on. You'll notice that based on my font size, I have 1,405 pages of this book, okay? If I tap the table of contents at the top, the back arrow, of course, takes me back to the library. If I hit the table of contents, it comes up and lists the table of contents here. So I'm just going to click on your iPhone. That's the page I was on. To go from page to page, you put your finger on the right-hand side and drag it to the left. You can also just tap over there and it goes to the next page. If you tap on the left side, it goes back the other way. I guess you click and drag on it. Okay. Now you notice how mine has one big page. If I tap the A's, the two A's on the control line, and I reduce the size of the text just a hair, all of a sudden now I have 2 pages. And watch what happens when I change the page here. This is a little more reminiscent of a book that you might have on your lap, where you're going from page to page, and you can click and drag the other way. It's too bad they didn't add a sound effect. Crinkle. Or you have to wet your mouse before you, wet your finger before you do this. Okay. I'm looking at the iPhone, aren't I? Gee, I ought to go back and see if I have the iPad. There it is. We'll pick that one. Okay. Again, go to the table of contents, go to your iPad. All right. So I guess I should continue talking about those 2 A's in the control line. If I tap the 2 A's, I can adjust the brightness of the screen. Now you can't see that adjustment, but you can do that. You can also tap the big A and little a, and every time you do that, what you're doing is you're changing the font size completely through the book, and the page numbering will change. So right now, if you'll look at the bottom, I have 1,215 pages. If I make the text larger, and I tap the control to get the controls, now I have 1,202 pages. Tap the A's. I can also change the fonts. And it changes the font in the entire document. Okay. If the 3 dots there, the 4 dots there, we can use them to change the background. White background, taupe background, gray background, and dark background. Auto night shift, if I turn it on, nothing will happen now, but when the sun goes down, it will primarily go into this mode. And the other option that exists there is if you don't like going from page to page like so, okay, don't like doing it that way, you can turn it to vertical scroll so that to get from page to page, you scroll up like this. So basically you have this huge long scroll of whatever number of pages you've ended up with. Suppose you're reading this book and you had a character and you wondered, where was that character first talked about in my book? If you tap the screen and tap the search, in this case, the character Siri, S-I-R-I, oops, right?
I'm not sure I understand.
I know. Okay, I just typed in Siri, and it's the first reference to Siri is on page 32, and I can click it here. But it also lists for me all the places in the book the word Siri shows up. Okay. Now I'm going to make the text a little larger, so this next exercise is a little easier to do. Okay. There we go. We got the text nice and large. Probably have 5,000 pages now. 1,800 pages. Okay. And I'm reading along and I say, gee, I'm tired. I'm going to bookmark where I am. And the little bookmark feature shows up in red. And then I go back to the table of contents and I go to a different place and I wanted to check that out, but now I want to go back to where I was. The way you can do that is you go to table of contents and you see where it says bookmarks. You tap on bookmarks, and I had a bunch of that are set up before I started the class, right? And I just go to the one. If that wasn't the one, I could go back and check the other one out. And then I could remove this one. And then I can go back and I only have 2 bookmarks there now. Okay. So that's a rather nice feature. The other relatively nice feature is to be able to highlight some text. So if you're reading a book and you want to highlight something, you get out your little pencil and you draw on the screen. No, don't do that. You get out a Sharpie and you put it on the screen. No. I click and hold and it selects the text. And then I can go and I can say, okay, I want to select all of this text because I want to highlight it. If I tap the word highlight that shows up, I can select the color highlighter I want. And let's make it yellow. Okay, so now I've highlighted this nice text. I can get rid of the highlight. I can take a note. Oh, so I have created this thing. I've created this nice highlight, and then I want to make a note. It's not a quote, but you get the idea. And I put a note on it. You'll notice how it comes up as a a little note over here on the left. Now I'm going to go ahead to the next page. And I'm going to highlight some more text. By just pressing and holding it. Click highlight, and this time we'll make it blue. Okay, now I'd like everybody to try that. I can't see what you're doing, but I'd like you to try it. And I'll give you a couple minutes to play with it and then ask me some questions if you're not quite getting that right. Okay, so I'll wait like 2 minutes. Set timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
Okay, so now I've highlighted something on one page and I've highlighted and put a note on another page.
Bill, can you do that in other applications or only in the books? Highlight and make a note.
It depends on the other applications. Are you talking about other library kinds of applications?
Yeah, or just you know, if I wanted to highlight something in a.
Well, you can highlight things if you've written a note or a message. I think you can highlight those. I haven't tried that, so but you would use the similar technique where you would select the text, stretch out the balloon a little bit like that. Oops, going to come down here. And then you get a selection of things you can do with what you just highlighted or what you just selected.
Yeah, I haven't seen highlight before, but okay.
In this case, it says I can highlight. It may exist on other applications as well.
Okay, I'll try. Thanks.
Right. So now I'm going to go back to the table of contents. That's the little dots there at the top. And I click on notes this time, right? And it not only shows me the notes, here I did a note on this one a long time ago. This one down here I did before class. And here's one that's just a highlight that doesn't contain a note. So every time I did a highlight, it tells me about it. And if I added a note to it, it would put the note right below where it says highlighted. If I go to that page and I tap the note, little square on the right, up pops the actual thing that I put in as a note. Well, it's a wonderful feature. I got to check some things. Oh. If you're in reading now and you scroll down to the bottom, in other words, I'm back. I'm back at I've exited reading the book, and now I have the list of books that I have, right? And I scroll down to the bottom. There's a thing called reading goals, right? And you can set a goal, how much you would like to read daily, right? Don't go there. Right? I said daily goal achieved. Okay. I can also adjust the goal. Right? How many minutes a day do you want to read? And then you can set up the books you might want to read down here. So they made a kind of a nice thing. The only thing I didn't cover with you was audiobooks. So if you have an audiobook, I have Thief of Swords. And
or shall I hunt for him myself? The steward cringed. I'm certain my master will be with you presently, sir.
So it's relatively easy. If you downloaded a audiobook from the bookstore, right? You pick it up and you can start listening to it. I think I only have one audiobook, so. Yeah, it lists them up here. So if I go to collections, there's audiobooks. There's also something called PDFs. If you receive a PDF from someone, if you receive a PDF, you can click on it and say, save it in books. And then you can go and view the PDFs that you've received. Here's some, I actually sent myself a document and saved it. Here's, for example, come on. Okay. Here's our nonprofit certificate for the club that I saved. Okay. Now, I need some help from everybody because the next portion is, are there other applications that do similar kinds of things?
Excuse me, Bill.
Say again, please.
Bill, how do you delete a PDF?
If you wanted to delete a PDF, let me bring it up again. So I want to delete this one.
How do you put it in there though?
Well, you have to receive it from somewhere and then you choose where to store it.
Oh, okay, you can just put books, huh?
Right, just a minute. I sent a handout, and I think it's on page 12 of the handout. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll read it.
Oh, I know what I did. No, I didn't. Good question. I don't have that answer. I'm not absolutely sure.
Question, Bill?
Yep, go ahead. Hey, just a minute. Hey, Bill, could you check that one out too? How do you put a PDF in Apple Books?
I actually did it. What I did is I got the my car, when I got the new car a couple of years ago, I wanted the owner's manuals on my iPad. And I thought the books would be better for it. So I downloaded the PDF of the owner's manual. And then I clicked on the share box. And in the share box, there was a thing that was tap to own the book, tap to put it into the books app.
Okay.
And then when I did that, I got all my owner's manuals as PDFs in the book app. So I can go look something up. I can search for a subject. I can highlight something or whatever in the, for my owner's manual. So I just clicked on that.
Good.
Oh, okay. Good.
So what he's saying is when you get the document, you get a PDF, you open it, and then you tap the share box.
Okay, gotcha.
And one of the options is there, save it in books.
That's what I wondered. Okay, good. Thank you.
Me too. Okay.
When you do a save as from a PDF, that also gives you a choice.
Okay.
Put in books.
Oh, good.
So I'm sorry.
So I'm assuming that would be the question I had is buying a book from Amazon and saving it on your iPad. So it would be the same kind of thing. You download it and do the save as.
Has anybody done that? I have not.
Yeah, I usually save it in the Kindle app.
And we're going to talk about that next. What you can have is multiple applications, right? So in this case, you can just download the Kindle app and use the Kindle app to get to those Amazon books. And if you get it from Barnes & Noble, you can go to the Nook app. Now, I don't know the feature richness of those applications because I don't use them, but I'm sure they're very similar to what we just covered. The capability of putting notes in it, highlighting, and bookmarking, and going from page to page. Okay. I think the library is going to CL. Is that what they're going to? The cloud library? Anybody use the?
Yes. Yep, that's correct.
Is that correct? Thank you.
That's my favorite application.
Okay.
I use it for all my books.
Okay.
It's connected to the library, and weekly I check out the bestseller list, and then I go in and the ones I choose, I get through the cloud library, and it doesn't cost anything.
Yep.
So now that app is just Cloud Library?
That's what it's called, CL. It looks like that one.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right, great.
How about other applications? We got Nook and Kindle. We got Cloud Library. Other ones people are using out there?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things is that we've been through an evolution and different libraries have different apps. So I had not seen the Cloud Library yet because my library doesn't have that one. But we started out originally with Overdrive, and then we went to Libby, and now we've got Hoopla through the library. And I just ran into that one
Hoopla.
this
Okay.
month, and that's another library one. And that's what my local library, the Boston Library and the Peabody, Massachusetts libraries are working with that one at the moment.
Sharon, can you tell us if I got one of these, how do I log into it? How do I use it? Just in general, how do I get into it?
You click on the icon.
Yep.
And then you have to put in your library information.
Oh, yes. Like an ID and a password?
Well, your library card number.
Okay. Library card number?
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, and then once that's in there, it's saved. And you can have multiple libraries. I have my daughter's card on mine, and I can look at the Knoxville library.
Oh.
So you can have multiple libraries.
And Bill, how about your Libby and Hoopla?
Yeah, they're the same thing. You put your library card is your ID. And I had a password on that when I was accessing the local library, so I used it. And I also had when I was using Libby, I had both the Sarasota library and the Massachusetts library, so I could have multiple libraries.
Okay.
Anybody else out there have some comments on them? Good. How about some questions? Anybody have general question they'd like to ask today? Yes, no?
I missed something.
Go ahead.
Believe it. Well, I'm going way back to books when we're our collections.
Yeah.
And it said a new collection. Well, I put it in, but it doesn't show up. It says no books are in my collection. So somehow I didn't put it in.
Well, you have to create the collection first. So do you have a collection?
Yeah, I have 2 collections now.
Okay. Then if you go to the book, so let's pick.
You have to go to library to add your collection.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm in library now.
Now here I am. I'm in library. Okay.
And then I'll come down here and click the little dots. And it says add to collection. See it there?
Oh, I see. That's
there's the trick, right?
Add to collection. All
then
right.
then you click the plus sign there, and you say then you just click the collection you want to add it to.
Okay.
All right.
I think so.
Well, look at all these I can put in there.
Now wait a minute. I did something didn't work.
Okay.
What plus sign didn't I do or something? Let's see.
So you're looking at the library down here at the bottom.
Right.
And then you find the book you want to put in that collection.
Okay. All right.
And it has the 3 dots next to it.
Yeah, I did the 3 dots. Okay.
And it should say add to collection.
Okay. Oh, I did it already. I see. You said the plus. I thought there was another plus somewhere. Okay.
And then it should say the name of the collection you want to put it in. You click that.
Oh, okay. Added. Okay. Gotcha. That's what I didn't catch. See? Thank you very much.
I just added it twice. I wonder if it goes in there twice.
I probably got it twice. At least I got it once. And...
No, it doesn't go in there twice. It says, it doesn't even come back and say, you dummy. Okay.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Bill, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I could never get past the iPad user guide because it said I needed to turn on fingerprint recognition and do iPad face recognition and all that. So if I use the one Sharon.
Wait a minute. You don't have to do that. When it asks for it, try it once, and then it should say enter password on the text. In other words, whenever it's asking for facial recognition or fingerprint and it doesn't take it, it should come back and try it again, but below that in smaller print, it says enter the passcode.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, what's your question?
Oh, okay. So I was thinking about Sharon's recommendation for the library one. It sounds like one I would like. So all I'd have to do would be download that, correct?
Right.
And I could use that.
Yep. But it'll ask for it needs the
My
library
card.
card.
Yes, yes. Okay. All right, thank you.
And you have to tell it what library you want to go to. I mean, you don't say Sarasota Community Libraries.
Right.
By the way, Sharon, does it tell you by library like Fruitville and Gulfgate downtown?
Well, when you go in, it does tell you sometimes the availability, but no. If you're getting a book on your tablet, it doesn't matter what libraries that's a whole separate section of the library.
That's true.
Yeah, and not all not all books are available
at the Sarasota County libraries. Okay, plural. Yes.
That has to do with the author. If they authorize the publisher to give people that access.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, there's some other things with that. In some cases, the libraries have to buy an ebook version, or they have a number of copies that they allow to be active within a library. But in like Sarasota, the Sarasota County is one library system. So you can see all of the things from the Sarasota library. Up in Massachusetts, we have regional libraries. So when I go in, rather than just I can select my local library, which is Peabody, or I can go into the Noble system, which gives me all of the libraries on the North Shore of Massachusetts. So I can see other libraries. When I used to live in the Metro West area, I could see all of those libraries. And so I still have the library card over there, but it knows that I'm not a local resident now, so that it limits me on what I can get out of those libraries.
Gotcha. Okay.
Bill?
Yes, go ahead.
One thing that I also just want to add is when you were in that books app, there's something called Flipster, and that's also connected to the libraries, but instead of books, it's for magazines, and you're able to download a ton of
periodicals,
magazines from the library, also by just using your library card.
Okay. All right. Good one. Thank you. The objective was to get everybody to use their iPads to start reading some books, especially when you're going on an airplane or something and you want something.
Yeah.
There it is. Make sure you download it, and then you don't even need the internet, anything. Okay?
Good.
Do we have any general questions today?
Yes, I have one.
Go ahead.
This morning, a friend asked me how he can, he got a new iPad and he wanted to know how to set it up. Did he have to go in and download all the programs and everything? And I said, no, generally what you do is you restore a backup from your latest version. He also commented that he had a iPad and his wife had an iPad, and they used the same cloud library. So they were backing up to the same cloud library. And he wanted to know how he would know what to do. And I said, I think the application would know which one to use. Is that correct?
Did they were using the same Apple ID?
Yeah.
No, won't know.
How would they know?
It's not going to know. In other words, if it's an iPad, they'll put everything on it that was on both of them, I guess. I'm not sure how or maybe it gives you a choice. What iPad would you like to get it from?
I would think so.
I would
think there would be a choice.
Yeah.
And I know you save a backup from your phone to the same thing. So when you go to set up a new phone, it isn't an issue. It knows what backup to use.
Yes, it knows it's phone to phone. I don't know about two iPads with the same iCloud address.
Yeah, I've done that. So my wife and I share the iPad address because she had it. It was before Apple had put the things together. So we've done it for years. But I had the two side by side when I got my new iPad 12, and it updated from mine. I think I had a choice when I started.
Okay, you did have a choice though. It's not that good. Can't figure out it's you.
No,
Okay.
but it was like a Bluetooth kind of a thing because it could detect that there was another device right beside
Oh,
it.
if it's right beside it, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next question.
I have another one.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I am preparing to get a new iPhone 13 when they come out.
Okay.
I currently have a 10 with 256 capacity.
Yeah.
And I've only used 50 of them. So I don't see a need to buy another 256.
Correct.
I think I could scale down just a bit. Are there any tips, comments, suggestions about upgrading to a new one?
Hope you like it. I wouldn't go down to 50. I'd go to 128.
Right. I wouldn't go down to 50. No, 128 should be good. I believe the reason I got the 256, I had a good salesperson and he said the newer cameras take bigger pictures and you need more space. But the first thing I do is turn off live. I do not like the live feature. And that is one of the things that takes up a lot of space.
That's correct. Let me show everybody what she's talking about. If we go into my photos, the camera, take a picture of my jug there. You see the icon in the upper right-hand corner of my phone there? This one? That's live photo. If I turn that little puppy on and take a picture, it's recording a 3-second video. And of course, that's a lot more space than a normal picture.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you guarantee that that's always off? Well, you can't really, but let me show you what you can do. You go to settings, down to camera, where'd they hide it this time?
Yeah, that's hard.
Preserve settings. It says live photo. I want to preserve the live photo setting rather than reset live photo to be turned on. In other words, without turning on this little one, right? This little thing right here, if you don't turn that on, when you shut down the camera and it'll turn it on again, it will turn on live settings. If you turn this on, it will preserve the setting that you have it at. So there's my camera. Right now, live photo is turned off. It will be off forever unless I turn it on. Now it will be on forever if I don't turn it off. But at least it doesn't go back. Whenever I turn off the camera, it doesn't go back to live photo whenever I go and leave the camera. Okay. So I have live photo off and it will remain off. Okay. Thank you, Sharon. Any others?
Bill?
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to say something to Sharon's question. Yesterday, I happened to be at the Apple store and for another matter, but I originally was thinking about purchasing an iPhone 12 when they came out this year. And it's gotten so late now. I never did, but anyway, it's gotten so late that I'm figuring, like Sharon, well, maybe I'll just wait till the 13 comes out. So I asked the Apple person, I said, well, what would you do if you were me? Would you buy the 12 right now, or should I wait until the 13? He suggested waiting for the 13. You know, I mean, that sounds sort of what Sharon's thinking about also, but that's coming from the Apple rep.
I don't know the new features.
If you go to the Stug web page, they have weekly trending. And one of the things is a comparison between 12 and 13. And I went through that yesterday and was reading a lot. And it told that the price is probably going to be about the same as the 12, if not maybe a little bit less expensive because of all the competition with Samsung and some of the others, that it needs to bring its price down to be competitive. But it did talk about some of the new features. One of them is the camera, of course, is going to be better than the previous models. Not a big upgrade from 12, but a big one from what I have on 10. Mm-hmm. So it did list, and it was interesting to go in and check out all the links and see what they were saying. So it's supposed to come out. It's supposed to be shown the beginning of September, but not available to the end.
Okay. I'm sure the 12 will be listed for less than the 13. You know, yeah. Right. So,
I would imagine, because anybody would be silly to get the 12 if it was the same price as 13.
And I think the advice would be wait until the new one comes out, and then you still have a choice. And if you're price sensitive, you can get the cheaper of the models if you don't need the additional features. Any other questions? Wow. Wait a minute.
No, I had a question.
Okay.
I was trying to list something on Facebook the other day to sell it, and I had to take a picture of the item, and I did, and it was in my camera, but how do I get it from my camera into the Facebook page? That was an hour-long process for me.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
I don't know. It ended up there, variety of methods, but it ended up there and I sold it.
Why didn't you take the picture with your phone?
I don't know. What else would I do?
No, did you take it with an external camera? Is that what you're saying? Or
yes.
You took it with an external camera. I said, why didn't you, do you have an iPhone?
Yes, I do.
Why didn't you?
I tried that too.
It should be pretty easy from there.
What process would I have used to get to the?
Well, I haven't done it, but there should be a way where Facebook is saying, do you want to add a picture? And you can click on it and it says, do you want to use the picture on your device? It should be that straightforward. I haven't done it. Anybody out there done it?
It seems like I've done it, but my question is how to get from Facebook to my photos.
As I said, when you're putting a listing on Facebook and it's asking for a picture, mm-hmm. and you're on your phone, if you tap on that, it says, where do you want to get it from? You want to use your camera or you want to go to your photos? And the only limitation is there, does Facebook have access to your photos? And it may throw up on that idea. So how would you change that? Again, you would have to give Facebook access to your photos.
Yeah, okay.
How do you do that? So if you go to settings, if you go to settings, if we go to settings and photos, or no, we have to go to settings, privacy.
Oh, okay.
And then we tap photos, and then you scroll down to where it says Facebook, and it says selected. You can say all pictures, all photos, or just the ones you select. And I would just give them the ones, and then you would have to edit selected. So I might change it to all photos. And now when you do that in Facebook, when you do you're putting the information out there, it says add a photo, you tap it, and one of the options is, do you want to get it out of your photo library? You can do that. Most applications will also give you, do you want to use your camera? So you can do it either of those two ways. Is that helpful? Who asked?
Yes, I appreciate it. I've got it here now and I'll try it.
All right.
Now my question is, like, I've got photos from a graduation, say, from a Facebook post. I mean, you can save them, but how do I get them to my photos?
When you save them, they should automatically go to photos. When you get a...
Well, this is from on an Android phone.
Oh.
It's nothing automatic. I just wondered, I can do...
There's a way you would mail them to yourself if you're there, because there's only 2
They don't say that either. It doesn't say that either. It's really funny. You can hardly...
No. I meant save them on the Android.
Okay. But I save them on the Facebook.
No.
Well, I have to on my Facebook.
Well, what I'm suggesting is you tap the picture on the Android and it should give you the option to save it.
Wow.
And then go to an email. You can't go to Facebook on your iPhone or iPad?
Well, pardon now? I can go. What else?
Well, why don't you go to Facebook on your iPhone or iPad and save bring up that,
okay. I guess I just never thought of that.
Yeah, bring up that particular communication and then save the picture.
Okay, I'll try that then. Because I usually figure all that kind of stuff out eventually, but I haven't this yet.
Yeah.
But I think I'll try that. Maybe I've never tried it. Thank you. Ooh.
My pleasure. Next week.
Question.
Go ahead and have another question.
Yes, on your iPhone, you have the widget for weather on your home screen or the first screen with your apps. How did you set that?
I just slid it over there.
But it's bigger than everything else.
Correct. That's the size of the widget I chose.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to add the widget, let me switch over again. I'll share my screen again. Sharon's asking a question about the widget that I have right here. And if I
Bill.
If I go to my widget screen over here, and let's say I press and hold, they start vibrating like this, and I tap the add button, and let me pick one here. Any widget, including the weather. Just let me pick the reminders one. So I clicked on that. Come on. It says add widget. Do I want that size? Ooh, I didn't want to do that. Let me do that again. I'm going to remove that thing. I'm going to come down here. Oops, no. I got to do it with my finger. I want to add a widget. I come down and I pick maps. So I'm going to tap on maps. Then I can scroll over and have 3 different sizes: small, medium, and large. And I just tap add that widget. And now I can click and drag it over to the home screen. Okay. Sharon, you all right with that?
Okay, I think I had to remove it first. Okay,
Yeah.
now how do I add a widget?
If you have the same, if you want the same widget, you go to the widgets, you tap the plus sign. When you have them moving, you tap the plus sign at the top. And then you go find the widget you want. And you can either use the little pictures that are there, or you can continue to scroll down. And there's the weather app. So I tap weather, small, medium. Well, let's do the large one just for grins here. I'll do the large one. Boom. And you tap add widget, and it shows up on your widget screen. And then you can move it to the home screen. I hope I'm not screwing up all my apps, but okay. Okay. Did I do that too fast?
I'm still having a problem.
You have to remove it first. Remove the one you have. I'm going to remove that one. And then I'm going to tab over here and tap add. Come down and tap weather.
Finding the add.
Say again.
I'm not finding where it says add.
Get them to shake. Get your apps to be shaking. See, mine are now shaking, and there's a plus sign at the top. That did not happen. Sharon, I'm losing you.
Yes, it did.
They're shaking. Yeah, mine are going to, they're going to have to go to the bathroom pretty soon. Oh, there, we can stop. Looks like they're doing the twist. And then we hit the plus sign, the top and left of the screen. And then I scroll down and get the list of apps that I've got that produce widget. Now choose the weather app. Boop. And here's where I can decide on what size that I want to use. There's a small, a rectangular, and then a large square. I'm going to choose the small rectangular and tap add widget. Bingo.
I got it.
All right. Victory.
Bill?
Yes, go ahead.
I have a, my iPad is on the area where it says that I can set a passcode. I'm back to the books thing and having to sign in.
Set or enter?
Set a passcode, it says.
For?
iPad user guide is at the top of the page.
Oh, you're reading that page.
So that passcode, does that need to be, I have one to get into the iPad and the phone that's just simple and I use all the time. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I put it in again, even though I have set it for the iPad, it's just setting it for this particular books
application thing. It's not books, it's some other one.
Well, it's iPad. I was into trying to get into the books and I never could, and now it's up on the screen that it says to use Touch ID, you must set a passcode on your iPad.
You don't have a touch?
Yeah, I do. That's, I mean, when it goes to sleep, you know, I always use one. So I
pass. It may be asking for your Apple password. I'm not sure. I would try the 4 digits, and then if that doesn't work, try the Apple password. The one that's 8 digits or more. If it has to do with Apple, it's one of those 2. You sure there's a passcode on your iPad And you're not talking about your iPhone?
Yeah, I use the same one for my iPhone and my iPad. It's just a simple one I do all the time when it goes to sleep, you know, then I have to.
And you're putting in 4 digits and it's not working?
Well, it's how many digits? Let's see.
Or 6 or whatever?
6, yeah, 6. Uh-huh.
Put in the 6 digits and see what happens.
Okay. All right. Now I push that and it went to something else. Keep my Safari browsing activities to yourself, or I don't know. Set a passcode on iPad. I'm going to have to take more time with this. I don't know what.
I would start over.
Yeah. Good idea. I don't want to take up class time, so I'll work on it then.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if it's asking for a passcode, it usually says password or pass. If it's a passcode, it's the 4 digits or 6 digits.
Okay.
And then if it's a password, it's the Apple ID password. That has letters and numbers and all that. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I still can't get my photos even on my iPad.
Your what?
Those photos, even on my iPad, they won't save to anything except to Facebook.
Well, when you go to Facebook and a photo comes up, what do you do?
Well, here, these are ones saved already.
They are saved?
Yeah, I've saved them to Facebook. But
No, we're saved.
See? So I pushed the 3, hit the tap.
Wait a minute.
Hmm?
Are you looking at your photos and trying to put them on Facebook, or are you looking at Facebook?
No, I'm trying to get, they came to me on Facebook from a Facebook post.
So tap it.
So I can save them. It says, you want to save them? I said, okay, I did, because you know how everything disappears. So I thought, well, I want to save these photos. So I put them under saved, and here they are. And all I get now when I tap like 3 dots is like unsaved posts, snooze Elizabeth,
Okay.
blah, blah, blah. Nothing about.
You're saving the post. Tap the picture first.
I do. Okay. Now, I did that before. Okay, now I can do something.
Now press and hold the picture.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You're a genius, Bill.
No.
Well, I tried that before and nothing happened. Thank you. I've been trying to figure this out for some time. Thank you.
Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Any others? We're going to try something a little different next week. We're going to try, I'll be coming to you from California. And no, I'll be here. Next week, we're going to talk about Pages, the application called Pages. And for those of you who don't know what Pages is, it's Microsoft version of Word. I mean, it's Apple's version of Word. So I haven't used it much. I'm going to be experimenting with it during the week, and we'll talk about how to use it.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I imagine most of us should be trying to use it on our iPads. I think it'd be a little difficult on the iPhone. Okay. And in conclusion, Jesus and the devil were arguing over which one was a better computer programmer. I am, shouted Jesus. No, I am, the devil countered. And they went back and forth. I am, me. No, not me. God bellowed. The whole universe disappeared in darkness. When the lights came on, the 2 computers, the 2 computer programmers, I gotta start here. God said, now, whoever makes the best computer program in 20 minutes wins. But then the power failed and everything went dark. When everything came back on, the computer screens were both blank. The devil tried in vain to get back everything he had lost, and he came up empty-handed. Jesus pressed one key and everything came back. The devil looked at him in astonishment. No way. How did that happen? Jesus turned to him and smiled and said, everyone knows Jesus saves. That's not bad. Come on.
I think it's funny.
All right, folks. Have a good week.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you.
It was good.
Very
Good class.
Take
Enjoy
care.
California.
Thanks, Bill.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah.